Welcome to part 8, where we're going to add details into this model to sort of finish it up before we go render it. So one of the first ones we're going to do is spacebar B. Spacebar B is it's going to be a little detail that's sitting in here. So let's go turn off the cylinder, dive into the body, and we're going to go in and type a sphere and put this over here and set the display flag. And we turn on smooth wired shaded. We're going to go along the z-axis, smooth shaded, smooth wired shaded. There we go. Now, if we go W, we see that we need this to be much smaller. So let's go 0.05, and let's see if that sort of matches up. What it looks like is we're getting close. Let's go to the handle tool, and we're going to move this over to here. We're going to move this over to there, and we'll just 3.5. Yeah. 4.2. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Oh no, it's a little smaller than that. It looks like this actually needs to go to about here, and then that would allow us to go 3.5. There we go. So this is we can then put a clip on this. Actually, what we probably want to do is go N, tab, clip, and we want to go 0, 0, 1. Okay, that clips it out there. And fill polygons along the clipping pane. And if we go B, B, you'll see it's going to do it. Okay, so when we go 4, we're going to select that, and we're going to go poly extrude, and that's going to allow us to pull this out. Now, if we go spacebar B, what we're going to do is we're going to bring that to here. Then we're going to go Q, and we're going to bring that out to here. Q, out to here. Q. We're basically going to pick up these pieces of geometry that are in here. And we'll go like this. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to select all of these that are in sort of the trenches part here. And we're going to go Q. And, okay, so we're going to go B. We can get the handle here, and we can just start to push that in until we reach that there. And there we go. We've created that gap in there. Okay, so now we've got that. Now we're going to go in and let's go W so we can see the shape. And let's go Shift minus. So what we need to do is we need to select this, and then this, A, middle click, and go delete. And that gets rid of that piece there. So now we've got a nice clean little piece in that area there, which intersects with everything. And we're going to put a null in there. Tab, null. And we're going to call this pin. and set the display flag. Now we can then take this. So this ended up being a number of steps. Let's take this and go inputs, hide inputs. And that'll allow us to move this up into here. And we will connect that into the merge. Now when we go back to Revolver, we're going to see that little piece right there. And if we go Shift plus, it's nicely set up. So that's perfect. Okay, so we've got that in. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start building something else. So let's move this over. And we're going to go Tab, Tube. And we're going to go Z-axis. That puts it sort of there like this. Perfect. And we're going to do a radius. Let's go 1, tab 1, and a radius of 0.009. Okay, and a height of 0.55. And this is putting this somewhere in there. And let's set the display flag on that, and so we can see the shape that we have here. Now we're going to add end caps to this. Let's go Shift minus. And we're going to just put a bit of a bevel on the end. So let's go spacebar B. And we're going to come into here. Let's turn on smooth wired shaded. 3, double click. Double click. There we go. So that we can then do poly bevel, and we can do that poly bevel, just let's do it as 0.002, and let's add divisions of 2, and that way if we go Shift plus, that whole thing looks much better than if we didn't have that bevel at the end there. We could have also creased it, but a bevel works as well. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go Tab Helix. We're going to put a helix here, and we'll set the display on that, and we'll set the template on the poly bevel just so we can reference it. Now in this case here, we're going to go down to the transform area, and we're going to change rotate X to 90. And we're going to go up and set the start radius 0.00011, and we're going to do turns to 60, and position, we can move this over to here. It seems like our height is too much. What we want to do is let's get the height to 0.54, and then let's bring that somewhere over here. Let's just go to 7. Okay, that wraps that around there quite nicely. Now, if we look at the number of points in here, there's a lot of points in there, and we can probably reduce divisions per turn to 10, and that'll be good enough for what we're doing here. So let's press N, and we're going to go Tab PolyWire, and press N, and there we go. So that's fairly heavy. We want a wire radius of 0.0025. Actually, maybe just 2. Yeah, that's better. And divisions, we can go with, well, let's go with 6. Yeah, that will go with 6. And that. Then we've got these two shapes, so we're going to tab merge, and this are merged into this shape here. If we go up to here, we don't need to see the points, let's hide that. And what we want to do is we want to position this in relation to the model. So let's put a null object down, and we'll call this ejector rod. And we're going to put a transform in here. Let's set the display on here. And on this, we want to, let's just display this. So we want to take this, and with the handle, we're going to push this to be over here. And needs to be in this little area in here. And press W. Okay. Let's set the display flag on the revolver here. And with our handle, we can pull this in. Maybe drop that down a bit into there. Basically, let's go 6, 1. There we go. So that inserts that little rod right in there. That's known as the injector rod. Even though it centered should be up a little bit, by bringing it down we made it a little more visible. That'll look a little better in the rendering, and that makes sure that it fits. So that's almost the last detail we want to do here. The other detail we need to do is up here. So this one, we're going to go back to the body. We're going to select this polydraw here. We're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to go poly extrude. And poly extrude is going to go out like this. But we want this to be separate from this. So one option that we have that's pretty cool in here is something called a split group. So we say we're going to select that. Press 3. We're going to select this edge, and press enter. And as soon as we do that, we are now having two extrusions, one on this side and one on this side, split by that. So that's a neat little feature that helps create this kind of shape. Now, once we have that, we're going to select this edge. Let's go to the select tool, select this edge and this edge, press T, and just push that back a little bit. And that will give us a better look for this. So once we have that, let's go back down and set the revolver to display. Let's look at the whole revolver here. Go up to the object level, bring back the cylinder. Well, actually, let me just make sure render. No, we want to do that as subdivision surface. There we go. Go to smooth shaded, and there we go. That's the completed sort of model. One of the things we can also do here is we can select these two, and rather than treat them as separate entities, let's select first the body and then the cylinder, and we'll go modify and combine, and that puts them together. Now, it puts them together down here. What we want to do is let's hide inputs on the cylinder. Let's move it, get rid of that display merge, because we don't want to merge down at the bottom there. We want to put this over here, and then we're going to wire that into there. So once we've had that, we have everything in place down at the geometry level, and at the object level we can just call this revolver. So whether you model things together, you model them separately, you can always bring them back a little bit later and see what they're going to look like. So now this is the completed model. Oops, before we move forward, the ejector rod is missing from here. So if we go down to this section here, and let's go big with this, what we can see is that we left the ejector rod way over here, and we need that. So let's right-click on that and say Input, Hide Inputs. Bring that over to here, and then that will also feed into there. So now when we go to the object level and we bring this down, there's the ejector rod in there. So got to make sure you merge everything in. This is ready for us to take over into Solaris, the context for lighting and rendering, where we're going to assign materials and render out the revolver. See you there.